Witkoff has been made point man for many other areas as well. What would you say to those that are worried Witkoff is maybe spread too thin to be able to focus on the hostages in Gaza? Those that say the Trump administration isn't prioritizing a hostage release anymore?
Well, I would say just the opposite. Donald Trump is extremely compassionate and focused on the release of the hostages. Steve Witkoff is going to become the UN ambassador, and that's not a small responsibility either. But he's putting as much pressure as he can on Iran, because Iran is the octopus behind it all. And of course, he's doing the same thing on all the countries that have funded Hamas, and the same thing on Hamas. So, you know, the president is doing everything possible. Listen, I wish there were more than 50 hostages left. There's not. There's somewhere between 21 and 23. The Egyptian negotiators have told me that, and alive. The rest of them are unfortunately dead. But the ones that, and we don't know if all of those are still alive, but the ones that are alive, everyone wants them out, especially the President of the United States.
Mike, how often is President Trump updated on the progress in these hostage talks?
I don't think a day goes by that he's not updated. Listen, Israel is the #1 priority for the president. There's nothing else higher on his agenda than the state of Israel, including the crisis you're dealing with the Houthis, the crisis in Iran, etc.
What does President Trump think about the recently approved IDF plans to take over Gaza, have some sort of a permanent presence inside the Gaza Strip? How could this impact Trump's larger peace plans for the region, for example, expanding the Abraham Accords?
Well, the president, I believe, is going to bring in a peace with Saudi Arabia probably this fall with the Crown Prince. And then when he does that, and by the way, he'll be there shortly. When he does that, the entire Sunni world will come on board. It's going to stop a lot of the funding of terror, which is incredibly important. But remember the president's plan initially, which was a big shock to the prime minister when he told him that his plan was to completely change Gaza. He didn't want it to be this way. He wanted to completely revolutionize Gaza, and he still does. So, you know, you can't do that with a terror regime operating Gaza. He wants them out, and he's supporting the state of Israel getting Hamas out of Gaza.
You mentioned President Trump's trip to the region, Saudi Arabia. Is there a reason that the president is not planning on coming to Israel right now for the time being?
Well, I don't think there's any significant reason for him to visit Israel. Israel is on the agenda every day. Listen, every country in the world is lobbying for a phone call for some time. I've had foreign ministers, Secretary of States and ambassadors coming to me, asking me, is there any way we can get even a platform or a voice with your Secretary of State? So they're all very busy, but Israel is really on the top of his agenda, and he's dealing with it every single day. So I don't think there's a relevant reason for him to come here. There's extremely relevant reason for him to come to Saudi Arabia and push the Abraham Accords forward.
You speak about the threat of Iran and the Houthis. Overnight, we did see Israeli strikes against Houthi targets in this attack coordinated with the United States. Netanyahu says a response needs to be made against Iran as well. Do you think that last night was some sort of an indication of what this coordination would look like? Or is the Trump administration not willing to entertain that sort of a path right now?
Oh, no, I think quite the contrary. The president put a message out that he blames Iran for this. He blames Iran for this. So I think the president's got his focus is totally on Iran, and Iran knows that. They know it. I think he's trying to squeeze them and pressure them to do what he wants. And if he doesn't, then they'll have hell to pay.
Mike, what do you make of the replacement to National Security Advisor Mike Waltz? There are some fears here in Israel that the replacement won't be someone as hawkish against Iran. Is President Trump leaning towards more of an isolationist to take over the role of national security advisor?
No, quite the contrary. Quite the contrary. If you take a look at what he's just done what Nixon did with Henry Kissinger. Marco Rubio is now the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. They don't come more pro-Israel than Marco Rubio. He's 100% on the same page as Bibi Netanyahu concerning Iran, concerning these issues. And I know him. He came to the embassy gala that I hosted. He's a great man, a great friend of the state of Israel.
All right, Mike, what about yourself? Do you have any plans in the near future to meet with President Trump?
Well, I'm part of the Faith Initiative, and we've had many meetings with the president, and we will have many more in the Oval and dinners with the president. Listen, the Evangelical, we now have an office in the White House. It's about 10 feet from the Oval Office. And the president knows that all of us evangelicals, advisors, are extremely pro-Israel. And one thing that unites all evangelicals that you've got to remember is Genesis 12. I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curse thee. Evangelicals believe if America curses Israel, God will curse America. So the evangelicals are going to stay united behind the state of Israel, and the president knows that. So President Trump's going to stand. Now I want to make one more comment concerning Iran. The most supportive people in the entire Middle East towards Israel are in Iran. They're the Persian people, the population. They're very, very, very supportive of Israel. The most supportive of any Muslim country, Arab country, period, in the Middle East. But on the other hand, the mullahs have hijacked the country. In my personal opinion, Iran needs to be bankrupted. It could be done in 72 hours by bombing the oil refineries and the shipping, and the people could overthrow the mullahs. They deserve their country back. It's been stolen from them by these demon-possessed nut jobs who have done to Iran what Hamas has done to the Palestinians in Gaza.